You know what the fuck we're doing today, ladies and gentlemen. After 4 months of waiting, the newest volume of Youjitsu has officially been released. I honestly wanted to release this video a bit earlier, but you know, life has been kind of cruel recently. There's been a lot of things I've been needing to do, but I was still able to finish the novel today. And you know, I'm here recording this video now. But yeah, this video is going to be similar to the same video that I did on volume 16, where I just expressed my thoughts on the volume as a whole, talked about certain parts that stood out to me, talked about certain parts that might not stood out to you guys, and just talk about anything that I found interesting. Unlike volume 16 though, volume 17 was more so focused on a large variety of small things, while volume 16 was more so just focused on the voting exam. So unlike the previous video where I more so, you know, just talked about the whole light novel, I'm gonna be picking out a few things that I think is worth talking about, a few things that I want to talk about, and some of the things that stood out to me, because while I was reading this volume, I decided to jot down some of the things that stood out to me, and yeah, it ended up being like 2-3 pages long, so that would be a bit too much for this video. And yeah, if you can't tell by now, there's obviously gonna be spoilers as part of this video, so if you haven't read volume 17, I really don't know if you should be watching this video, but if you want to watch anyways, I'm not gonna stop you. But yeah, let's start off by talking about the intro of this volume, which was actually shown from Miyake's perspective. For the people that doesn't remember, Sakayanagi, a member of the Ayanokoji group, was recently kicked out of the school due to a certain exam that happened in the last volume, and the person that was affected by the whole entire thing was Miyake, who was a fellow member of the Ayanokoji group. Yeah, I was really shocked when the story started off from Miyake's perspective, because you know, this is something that Youjitsu does a lot. They always start off the newest volume from like someone's perspective, normally not Ayanokoji's, and we get to see like, you know, them say some weird things, maybe hint some things that's like, you know, more so further into the story as well. But you know, I personally didn't expect it to be Miyake. If I had to choose someone, it probably would have been Haruka. Like Haruka, you know, she was the one who was most affected by the suspension of Sakura, so I kind of expected it to be her. I'm definitely not happy about this decision though. It's quite cool actually. We saw some things from Miyake's perspective. He talked about his past, how he's always been a viewer, how he's always been like an outsider, how he's always lived this simple, might be boring to some people, but also very comfortable life, until a certain group that goes with the name of the Ayanokoji group was formed, and you know, that's when he made some of his first friends. Because ever since he said that ever since he joined high school, he hasn't really been able to make friends, because you know, he doesn't really get involved in anything. He's always been like a viewer or outsider, so you know, he hasn't really been able to make friends like properly. So something like the Ayanokoji group was a little ordinary for him, but he also does say that it was something that was really comfortable for him, and he wanted it to, you know, continue until they graduated. And we all know the outcome of that. And he also started liking someone that he always found attractive, always found cute, but she was someone that he didn't exactly expect himself to fall in love with. Then the intro ended with Haruka asking Miyake if he wants to help her get revenge for Sakura. Now this was a point that was well played into the story as well, but the word revenge in this case is very, very interesting. But Miyake didn't respond, because he kind of thought about, you know, what the outcome of it would be, how much it would affect him, how much it would affect Class D, so he didn't say anything. And yeah, that's the intro right there. I think all of us saw this coming, especially after reading volume 16, but the vibes of Class D were kind of off, because you know, Kushida exposed a lot of people, and people were still saddened over the fact that Sakura, you know, a person who was kind of useless but also very likable, was removed from the class. There were 3 people missing from the class, so like they just decided to stay, like, you know, home, stay in their room instead of coming to class because of, you know, what's happening recently. And those 2 people are Haruka, you know, she was obviously affected because her best friend got suspended from the class. Mei, she was also affected because, you know, Kushida revealed the fact that she's in love with Hirata, and Kushida, you know, I don't need to say anymore, that we know what happened with her. And after this, the story basically progressed regularly, but they did reveal the fact that there's a new exam coming, which is the second sports event. Now they decided to change a few things up with this exam. Unlike the previous exam where, you know, anyone can participate in any sport, any, like, you know, any activity they want to, they added an extra rule where club members will not be able to join, you know, the club, like the sport of the club that they're in. Like for example, Shiro is in a basketball club, so he will not be able to play basketball in the event. I don't exactly remember what the last first place winner won, but if I had to guess, it was probably like, you know, money or points in this case. But in this event, they decided to add an addition that could honestly fuck up the story in a way, which is a class transfer ticket. Now the name of that should be pretty self-explanatory. Whoever gets that ticket will be able to join a class of their choice by a certain semester. I don't remember which one it was, but until that semester, they will be able to join any class of their choice, and they will be able to stay in that class. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't exactly see this being used anytime soon, especially after, you know, knowing who won those 2 exams. I'm just tell you guys anyways. Both of the winners are from Class C. You know, Sudo won the first place for the boys, and Onodera won the first place for the girls. I personally don't really see Sudo using that ticket because, you know, I think he's found a comfortable spot in Class D where he's very respected by everyone. Now he's in the respect where he's improving, like, gradually over time. But Onodera, we don't really know too much about her as a character yet. And with one of the scenes from this volume, we can kind of guess that Onodera is kind of interested in Pseudo now, and Pseudo's, obviously still interested in Horikita. So I can kind of see a scenario where Onodera might confess to Pseudo, and Pseudo might still be interested in Horikita, so she might be hurt over that whole thing, so she might use the ticket to join another class. I mean, that's obviously a stretch, but I can kind of see that happening, especially with this fucking novel. Next, I want to talk about Horikita. Now, Horikita received a lot of backlash from what happened in volume 16, and I can't blame people for doing that. Like, it definitely was a very controversial decision. Like, Sakura is a very likable character, and Kushida obviously did a lot of bad things in the past, so I think most of us fans wanted, obviously wanted Sakura to stay over Kushida. But at the same time, I will personally say Horigita made the correct decision to help out her class, especially after reading volume 17, because, knowing that, Kushida is going to cooperate with everyone else now. In the case with how useful a character is, how useful someone can be to their class, Kushida is definitely, higher on the list than Sakura. It's sad to say, but, I guess Sakura is gone for good now. But yeah, back to Horikita. Horikita is fully embracing, not embracing, but she's fully taking in the role of leader now. She's growing as a person, she's growing as a leader, she's, growing to help out Class D. And it's pretty cool to see, because, Horikita kind of went through a phase where she was honestly close to useless for a bit, where she was, kind of stuck in place, not really knowing what she should do. But now seeing her being the leader of Class D, now seeing her actually doing a great job of being a leader is pretty nice. It is pretty nice. And seeing her take responsibility for this controversial decision is also pretty, cool as well, because, one of the first things that she even mentioned in this volume was asking Ayanokoji how the relationship of the Ayanokoji group is now, because she knows that she did something that was kind of fucked up, ruining the friendship of some of her fellow classmates in Class T. So she knows what she did was fucked up, but she does stand with her decision, and that's why she openly expressed the fact that she thinks Kushida could honestly help out Class D, and if Kushida doesn't, she's gonna take full responsibility for making that decision. Seeing all of the things that she did in this volume, reaching out to Troubleshooter Sensei, having a down-to-earth conversation with her, which shows a different side of Troubleshooter Sensei, and seeing her reach out to her arch nemesis Ibuki for help was something that I honestly didn't expect. But that kind of shows us that Horikita's definitely growing as a person. She's starting to do things that she wouldn't do before, and she's starting to honestly just become more acceptable about a lot of things. And with the help of Ibuki, she successfully convinced Kushida to return to Class D. Obviously not without a price though. She did make a promise to Ibuki to for them to basically 1v1 and do different activities in the sports exam, which was very interesting to look at. And also, seeing the interaction between Kushida and Horikita is really adorable in a way. I'll show a picture of what exactly happened. Just look at this shit. These two people definitely have a love-hate relationship going on, and I honestly wouldn't mind seeing them become friends. Even though they did hate each other for a bit and they still dislike each other a lot right now, I definitely wouldn't mind seeing them become close friends in the future. That's not it though, ladies and gentlemen. Horikita even reached out to Class C, Ryumin and Katsuragi, asking them to basically form an alliance during the sports exam to go against Sakayanagi in Class A during it, because Class A has a pretty good lead right now. Class A has always had this comfortable lead over everyone else in there, so she wants kind of do an upset, make them lose some points, and slowly catch up to them. I know I've been saying this so many times, but Horikita's growth is so fucking good, because can you guys really imagine Horikita from 3 volumes ago asking Ryumin for help, asking Ryumin to form an alliance with them? Because I can't see that. Every time I see Horikita doing something new now, I always get flashbacks of her past self, of how she was before, she fixed the relationship with Manabu, how she handled losses, how she was, just an independent person who didn't interact with anyone else and just, attempted to succeed on her own. But now she's the leader of Class D. She's going out of her way to help everyone. She's going out of her way to make everyone not make everyone happy. Definitely not make everyone happy, but she is trying her best to make Class D move up in the rankings, and that's something that you need out of a leader. Next, I would like to talk about Kei and Ayanokoji. Now, Kei and Ayanokoji, they revealed the relationship to the public at the end of volume 15, I think. And ever since then, they've been very open with the relationship, having dates in public, going to each other's room every single day basically, and just hanging out every time they get every time they get a chance to. A really interesting conversation that Kei had with Kiyotaka was she asked him hey, if I was the weakest point of Class D, would you have kicked me out? And Kiyotaka responded by saying, if we never had this relationship, if you were not the Kei you are now, if you didn't have this social status, yes, I will kick you the fuck out of this class. This was very interesting to me because in my previous video where I talked about volume 16, that was something I brought up. I basically said like if Kiyotaka is willing to push this decision to kick out one of his, closest friends, like is he willing to go as far as, getting rid of K to achieve some of his goals? I mean, granted, he did make a deal with Sakayanagi Sensei and Horikita, so he kind of did have to agree with it. But that was something I wanted to think about. And the fact that K kind of brought it up was very interesting. But yeah, I am kind of worried about their relationship though. Like I previously mentioned, K and Ayanokoji, they can be as public as they want out. They can, be as lovey-dovey and public as they want. But at the same time, it's like K is so attached to him now. Like she's slowly gone past the phase of even trying to act up in front of this guy, even trying to attempt to like not be the soft adorable girl, and like now she's just so attached to him. And like in a way I think something's gonna happen to her in like the next few volumes, because this is Youjitsu we're talking about. Youjitsu, they always surprise us with like the most unexpected things, and Kei was a very important character at one point. She still is, but at the same time, like her current role is Kiyotaka's girlfriend. Like she's not Kei Kurosawa right now. So in a way, we're more so getting like fan service, chapters of them hanging out together, being like, this lovely couple, instead of actually seeing her work with him behind the scene, see her use her abilities to the max. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if something happened to Kei, and like something actually happened in this volume 2. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so someone went up to Sato at the mall and basically told her like, hey, we can get K suspended if you want to. Like if you want to work with us, we can get K suspended. And that's obviously like a tempting like offer to Sato, because she's still in love with Kiyotaka, and if Kiyotaka's girlfriend disappeared, she will probably have a higher chance of getting with him. But at the same time, she is like pretty close with K as well. So I don't know what's gonna happen after that, but they are hinting the fact that something could happen to K in the future. Now let's talk about Kushida for a bit. Kushida was a character that I disliked for a very long time, because she is like this two-faced, she was this two-faced bitch, and now she doesn't have to do that anymore. Something interesting that Horikita said when she was with Kushida and Ibuki was that Kushida is a lot more believable now than she was before, because back then she was this two-faced girl who tried to put up this perfect image so everyone would love her, but now that she got exposed, she doesn't have to do that anymore. She doesn't have to put up a fake image. She can just be that fucked up person that she always was, hence making her more believable, because she doesn't have to put up a front anymore. So in that way, Kushida is a lot more useful to Class D, because at least for Horikita and Kiyotaka, they don't feel like Kushida has to lie to him anymore, because she has nothing to save at this point. And like I previously mentioned, I see Horikita and Kushida's relationship developing more than this. They can definitely become like close friends in the future if Kushida gets past the phase of like hating everyone so much. And again, Horikita brought up another deep line when she was having the conversation with Ryumen and Katsuragi to team up to be Sakayanagi. She said your enemy's enemy is your friend. Now I don't know about you guys, but that's a deep fucking line right there. That is very true though. Like your enemy is always your enemy, and the moment their enemy pop up, or one of your enemy pops up, with someone that you just both dislike, your initial enemy probably wouldn't mind teaming up with you to beat up the second enemy. And that's kind of what's happening with Kushida right now. Now Kushida doesn't really have any like sentimental feelings towards Class D alone or anything like that, but at the same time, she doesn't want the secret to to get leaked out to more people. So in a way, she's teaming up with her enemies to beat her other enemies. So that line kind of fits with Kushida and like what she's doing with right now. But also, I want to talk about the conversation that May had with Kiyotaka, which was honestly surprising, because May thinks that Kiyotaka genuinely cares about her, worries for her, which is definitely questionable, but hey, glad they think that way. So May was one of the students in Class C that was hurt by Kushida. I think Kushida revealed the fact that she's in love with Hirata, and May's a very shy girl, so she probably didn't want that to get out there, even though it's pretty obvious already. So yeah, May went over to Kiyotaka's room to talk to him about what's going on recently, how everyone's feeling in Class D. And one interesting that she brought up was that someone's been leaving food outside her door like every day that she's been missing. We were able to confirm that it wasn't Kiyotaka or Hirata, which were like the two most likely candidates to do something like that. But now that they're out of the way, I personally think it was Ryumen. Now May hasn't really gone too many big scenes in the past few volumes, but there is one scene that I still vividly remember, which was when Hirata had that whole freak out and May tried to go out of her way to help him recover and all of that, and Koji was the person who jumped in and decided to help her out. So outside of Kiyotaka and Hirata, I definitely see him being like the most likely candidate to do something like that. But at the same time, that is the least Koji thing I've ever seen before, but we also don't have anyone else that would be doing something like that, so I don't really know. And after that, the three people that were missing decided to return to Class D, and when May and Haruka returned, everyone was getting lively, because two likable girls, two girls are irreplaceable now, especially after losing, like, you know, Sakura, and I guess you can invite Yamaji into the. But they were happy to have those two classmates back, and you know the class was getting lively again until Kushida's appearance. Then the class started to get, you know, the class started tensing up again, basically. But then this is where Kushida kind of revealed her true self again, her badass. I honestly like this side of her now. I don't know why I hated her before, but I like it so much now. She apologized to Mei and even apologized to Shinohara, but Shinohara didn't exactly accept it because, you know, let's just say Kushida's tone was very apologetic. But Kushida basically confirmed the fact that she's gonna help out Class D. She's not gonna do anything to bring them down, but she's only doing this for herself. And like I previously said, that is very badass in a way. I honestly like this open side of her, how she can just be like, you know, kind of nonchalant and like assholes towards everyone and not have any problems with anyone, because, you know, this is the real her. And honestly, anyone's real side, no matter how bad it is better than, you know, like putting up a film, like acting fake to get attention, to be loved by everyone. Another thing that I didn't really expect, which was Ryuan and Ayanokoji somehow combined birthday party, is a thing now, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, Kei was going out with Ayanokoji to buy, you know, him a birthday present because it's almost his birthday. I think it's October 20th. Then they ran across some members from Class C, and they were shopping for Ryuan, looking for presents for him. And after hearing that Kiyotaka and Ryuan have the same exact birthday, they were like, let's do a birthday party for you guys. I don't know about you guys, but that's legit the most like out of character thing for both of them that I've ever seen before, because, you know, Kiyotaka and Ryuan, they still kind of have this love-hate relationship going on. They were against each other for a very long time. They were legit at each other's neck for a very long time. But now, I guess they're having the same birthday party together. Yeah. And again, I want to talk about Kei's character development, because she wasn't against the idea of, you know, them merging birthday parties, and she was actually pretty open with it. I feel like the Kei back then would just want Kiyotaka to, you know, spend his time with her alone and not get anyone else involved. But now she's actually caring for him. She wants him to be happy in every way possible instead of, you know, just keeping him to herself. The last thing I want to talk about is whatever happened with Ayanokoji and Sakayanagi in their room. Now, I don't really know what happened after this, but this pose right here is very questionable, especially when you have a girlfriend, Kiyotaka. Control yourself, please. I can't blame you for doing that, though, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, that's some of the things I wanted to talk about for the newest volume of Youjitsu. Now, volume 17, I would say it was a good volume. It's very different compared to, you know, like it's basically the complete opposite of volume 16, where, you know, it was a mixture of small things that happened, more so of just, you know, them focusing on one major thing. So in a way, this volume was very eventful, but at the same time, not too much happened. There were a lot of character developments involved, but outside of that, you know, I don't really know. It was enjoyable, but I can't exactly say this is like, you know, one of the best volumes out there or anything. It was more so on the casual side, and I personally enjoyed it a lot. I forgot to talk about this, but Haruka actually made a request for Miyake to, you know, for them to get revenge on Sakura after the whole exam happened, and that was the final scene of the light novel. Miyake responded by saying no, but he did follow her afterwards, which kind of shows that, you know, he is up for it, but we don't really know what's gonna happen until the next volume. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, maybe subscribe. You obviously don't have to do any of that. You obviously not required to do any of that, but if you'd like to support me, if you'd like to be nice to me, you can do all of the things I just mentioned. Yeah, like I said, very excited for the next volume of Youjitsu. Very satisfied with volume 17, even though it was gonna do something different compared to the previous one. Still very satisfied with it. And yeah, that's everything from me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys will have a nice night, and hopefully we'll see you again. Peace out.